Hello, Grammar Pirates. It's great to see you again. Today we're going to be talking about an important grammar topic, one that is often confused by many people, so get ready to stretch those noodles. First, what does it mean to possess something? It means it belongs to you or you own it. In writing, to show us that something belongs to another person, you use an apostrophe. And where you place that apostrophe matters. I'm going to introduce my friend Fred. He really loves cupcakes. So if we were talking about cupcakes, whatever your favorite delicious cupcakes are that you can think of, you would probably want to own them or make them belong to you. Would you only want one? Probably not, because these are your favorite cupcakes of all time. How you would write this down will determine how many cupcakes belong to you, if any. So let's take some time to break this down. The punctuation matters. Do you have an apostrophe? And if you do, where does it go? So let's say your name is Fred and you love chocolate cupcakes. Someone made you a dozen cupcakes just for you. That's 12. How can we show that the cupcakes belong to you and there are a bunch of them? The apostrophe, of course. The apostrophe attaches to the who of ownership. We have one Fred, and all of the cupcakes belong to him. Do the cupcakes own anything? No. No apostrophes with cupcakes. That is a plural noun, meaning we have more than one of them. So there we go. We have Fred's cupcakes. It's apostrophe S because there's only one Fred, and there's no apostrophe in cupcakes because we have more than one of them. It's just plural. There you go, and there's your possessive nouns. So that's the difference. If you possess something, you own something. If it's plural, you have more than one of something. So let's focus more on the phrase Fred's cupcakes. The apostrophe does what? That's right, it shows ownership. Who owns what? Fred owns the cupcakes. How many friends do we have? And this is where the apostrophe really is important. It tells us how many owners there are. So it's apostrophe S because there's only one owner. So let's kind of translate these phrases a little bit. We have tails of the cats, bags of the person, petals of the flowers, except that you don't usually go around and say it that way because it's a bit of a mouthful. So the way that we do that is we show ownership with the apostrophe S or S apostrophe. So tails of the cats. Another way to say that is the cat's tails, and it's S apostrophe because we have more than one cat because most cats only have one tail. The person's bags. All of the bags belong to one person, so it's apostrophe S. So the of the sort of translates into an apostrophe. And the petals of the flowers, because we have more than one flower, says S apostrophe. And so that's how you can translate the phrases from the left into a shorter, more brief format using the apostrophe and the possessives. So we're going to break it down. Now I made a teeny tiny change by placing the apostrophe after the S. Does it matter? Yes, it does, and especially to Fred. If you have an S apostrophe, you are saying that there's more than one, which means I don't have one friend named Fred. I have many friends named Fred, which would get confusing for poor Fred. If you have more than one of something, a noun, and nothing is being owned, would you use an apostrophe? No. If it's a regular noun, you would just add the regular morpheme S or ES onto the word. Let's take our example again, Fred's cupcakes. Do the cupcakes own anything? Nope. Is there more than one? Yes, and that is why we added an S to the noun. Let's start to practice with these a bit. The words around or context clues in a sentence are just as important as the other words to help you get ready to figure out where to place an apostrophe, if at all. So we're going to go through these, and what you're going to want to do is write down the possessive word, the possessive noun, with the appropriate punctuation mark. So let's start with number 1. Fred's books are on the floor. Number 2, My friends' classes were all in other hallways, so I couldn't see them until lunch. And number 3, the team's coach were going down before the game. All right, so here are the answers. So we're going to also look at the things here, and I think I just made a boo-boo, so we'll work on that. Fred's books are on the floor. We'd have only one Fred. Now, my friends' classes were all in other hallways, so I couldn't see them until lunch. Them gives me a hint that it's more than one friend I'm referring to. Now, on number 3, you could have done it either way because I had a typo in the last one. But if in this one, if you notice, I have was going, so then it would be there's only one coach. But if I had it before in the practice, it said were going, which implies that there's more than one. So in that sentence, if you had it either direction, that would be okay. So let's practice a little bit more with these. The children's teacher was taking attendance. Remember to look at the context clues of the entire sentence. Number 2, 12 caterpillars' hats were seen on the table. And number 3, my sister's friend was calling her on the phone. Again, I underlined some context, which if you also notice actually happens to also be step 1 in Grammar Pirates land. Step 1 is, that's right, underline the verb. What's step 2? Step 2 is draw the mast, which separates the subject from the predicate, and a clause, not the Santa, has a subject and a predicate. Always good to remember those. So it's the children's teacher, even though there's more than one, because it's an irregular noun, we know it is more than one because of the way the word is something different. So it's still an apostrophe S, even though we know there's more than one. So those are the ones you have to pay attention to, those irregular nouns. 12 caterpillars' hats were seen on the table. So since there are 12, we can assume that there's more than one caterpillar. And number 3, my sister's friend was calling her on the phone. My sister's friend was calling. So I want you to remember to use context clues to help you figure out who owns what, if anything. Use context clues to see how many owners there may be. S apostrophe means there's usually more than one owner. Apostrophe S means that there's only one owner typically, unless you have an irregular noun, which is what the last hint is. Remember that regular or irregular nouns, because those look slightly different. All right, Grammar Pirates, you've had a great ride here. Keep it up, and I will see you next time. See you later.